Well, I just
Uh,
hit record because I just want
uh,
to like jump right in.
oh, okay.
I
Yeah.
wish I had it on record
So, yeah.
when
So,
you started out that way. I think yeah, there we go.
anyway, you got to listen to Sissel.
Yeah.
You got to listen to Sissel for the rest of it.
Sissel. Okay.
Sissel.
All right.
S-I.
Well, everybody, hello. Welcome
The,
back, Udo. Welcome
thank
back.
you. Thank you, Elizabeth. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was such an entrance, I got to tell you. You
Yeah.
know?
I love,
Beautiful.
my voice isn't a good singing voice anymore, but my whistling is as good as it ever was.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, chilled.
So,
I was like silent. I
cool.
wanted to hear more. Again, it's just a
But
beautiful
listen
day.
to Sissel,
Sissel.
Sissel, and she has a 2017 greatest love songs. Beautiful, just a collection of 150 songs. They're just like almost every one of them is out of this world. She is so good. Her voice is so incredibly beautiful.
Well, if it's as
Uh,
beautiful as your whistle, as what you just did,
way, way
yeah,
better. It's
I
actually way better.
definitely going to check that out.
Yeah.
I'm all on that. Thank you. Thank
All
you.
right.
How you doing? How
Life is obviously life is good.
I see.
What do we say? What do we say? Life is always amazing, and a lot of times the world sucks.
And you know what? That
And
just
it's
brings me. God.
and it's important to make the distinction. Life is always incredibly beautiful inside of you because it loves you unconditionally.
Yeah.
It runs everything. It weighs nothing, runs everything, never asks for anything back. Loves you, loves you, loves you, loves you, loves you. Takes care of your body when you sleep, when you're on the bathroom, when you're hungry. It lets you know. So it does everything, right? And
Yeah.
the world, things change. We don't want them to change the way they change or as fast as they change. The world sucks a lot of times, but life is always incredibly beautiful.
It's what you make of it. It's what you yourself can put out in this crazy, crazy world that we live in right now. It's what
Yeah.
you make the difference in your, not just for yourself, right? But in how you make a difference to others that matter.
Well, yeah, but you have to make the difference to yourself first, because
True.
for most of us, the unconditional love that life has for the body that empowers us and the foundation of peace out of which that love comes is actually where most of us are strangers to it because we always looking out there and we're looking for what we have inside, peace and contentment and happiness. We're looking it for it out there when we're already sitting on it or sitting in it inside. So we're looking in the wrong place. You know how that song goes? You're looking for love in all the wrong
In the
places.
wrong places,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
if you occupy the space your body occupies, it's all there. It's all there. You came into the world whole. You were a little Buddha when in your mother's womb in deep meditation for 9 months. So you came. That's why children are so attractive because they're still quite a bit inside
Yeah.
until we drive it out of them. Say, no, no, look at that. No, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Why don't you? Like, right? And then they get drawn out. It's a natural process, even if you don't treat them badly.
Yeah.
Then we get drawn out and we lose our connection. Then we get heartache. Heartache is a call to come home. When we bring our focus back inside into the heartache, so don't avoid the heartache. Don't like try to distract yourself or blame it on somebody or ignore it or be with it and just behind it, you're home again.
And that brings up a thought because we as babies, as children, we only know what we're taught, what we see, what we feel, what we so in essence, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but we are a product of our environment. And not to say that we can't change,
Okay.
but who we
Yeah.
are today, this is just my thinking, who we are today is a product of what we brought up in terms of home life, in terms of what happened to us now. Now, again, we have choices, right? We have choices in terms of we can either make what we learned in our environment into a bad choice, or we can make it into a good choice. But in essence, as a baby, we're a blank slate. We're a blank slate.
Blank. We're a blank slate for um,
Mental.
mental
Exactly.
process, for mental processing, for mental input, right?
Right. Exactly.
But the wholeness is still there, and the
Right.
love is still there,
Physically, love,
and the
everything
presence is
is
still there, and the
right.
energy and the inspiration is still there, but our focus is not there. So
Right.
the focus gets drawn out into the world, and then we fill our head with the memories and the informations from the external focus. And then when we go inside, we only go inside to the place inside us where those memories are. Where
Yeah.
if we went a little deeper, we'd be back in the love that can't be programmed, and back in the peace that can't be programmed, right? And in
Yeah.
all the drama and trauma that we have in the world, something in us was not affected, but our focus went to the drama and the trauma. And then when
Yeah.
where your focus goes, that's what your reality is going to be. And you change your focus, you change your reality, because it all exists in the same place,
Yeah.
right? It all
Hmm.
exists. I mean, it's all there. Like all the most craziest stuff is here, and all the most content, peaceful, loving stuff is here too, right?
Yeah.
So we make choice. Focus is our freedom. That's the only thing we really have freedom on. Wherever we put our focus. Oh yeah, I can put it there. I can put it there. I can look at you. I can, you know, I don't want to focus on you, so I'm just going to listen to the sound in the room, right? So
Yeah.
wherever we put our focus, that becomes our reality. So you want peace in your life, you need to focus on the peace within you, because it's already there, right? You want love in your life, you want love, unconditional, empowering love in your life, then you need to go inside of you where it exists, unconditionally loving your body, right? And if you
Yeah.
don't, then you're going to be wherever your focus is. It might drift, and it might just jump from thing to thing, anything, but focus is your freedom. You can't, you have to pay taxes. You're not even free not to pay taxes. So how much freedom do you have? You're not free to drive on the left side of the road when you're supposed to drive on the right side of the road.
Unless you're in
Or
England.
or you can, but there's consequences, right?
Well,
Yeah.
right. To
Yeah. And
everything.
so
To everything.
yeah. And so because everything has consequences, you want the good stuff, you got to go and focus where the good stuff is.
Yeah.
If you drift, you're likely not to get good stuff. You don't drift to good stuff. That has to be deliberate. It's like, damn it, I'm going to be in peace. It's like,
So
right?
then talk to me, how does one, so if people, I mean, obviously we know deep down inside, this is what we have. This is who we are. We're love, we're peace.
Well, we
Now,
don't. We don't, because there's nothing in our culture that even tells us that. And our parents tell us you're a good boy, you're a bad boy, depending on the behavior, whether they approve of your behavior or not.
okay.
So you don't get told. If we said to every child, you are a Christ child or a Buddha child or even a Socrates child, maybe, you are the pinnacle of human existence, because every human being is in their nature. If we were told that and they treated us like that was true, then we would be trained into being a master. But I don't know if you know anybody who was trained like that. I certainly wasn't trained that way. I had to figure that out by first going through all my what's called the dark night of the soul, through my confusion, through my desperation, through wanting to know what it's all about, right? And the dilemma of the question of the answers to the purpose of existence is a big deal for human beings. Not for dogs, not for trees, but it's a big deal for human beings, right? And
What
the answer is to be fully present in the space your body occupies, because that's where the most incredible experience that you can have as a human being lives. And then after that, just help where you can, right? It's not complicated, because once you go in here, you feel cared for. Nothing left to do except help where you can. It's so simple. I mean, it's simple when you do your homework, but most people don't do their homework, and then it's well they're doing that and they're doing that, and you take sides with the Democrats or the Republicans when you should be independent, dependent on what's within you. Be the, what is it called? The captain of, I am the, how's that go? I am the captain of my fate. I am the
captain of my
no,
ship
yeah.
yeah,
I am the
something like
captain
that.
of my soul, right?
Yeah.
And the I is life, not this face, not this name that
Right.
somebody stuck onto me, right? Udo. Why'd they call me Udo? Why'd they call me John? Everybody would remember that, Oh,
Well,
they call
actually, I
me
think
Udo.
Udo would be more
Well,
memorable.
now it is, and now it
Right.
is. But I didn't know that when I was a kid. So
Yeah,
I wanted to
true.
fit in, and I wanted to be like everybody else. And then
Yeah.
I say, my name is, what's your name, Udo? Who? Rudolph? Rudolph?
Mm, yeah.
What? What?
Yeah.
So that was more drama and trauma, right?
Yeah.
But the point is we have the best and the worst all in this space that we occupy, and so we have choices, and the choice is about where we put our focus. Freedom. There's their freedom. There's no freedom in activity because actions have consequences. So if you're bound to an action, you say, okay, well, I want to be free to do whatever I want. Yeah, but whatever you do that you want to do has consequences. So you're actually bound to those consequences. So there is no such thing as freedom in action without consequences. Like when people say, "Oh, I want to do what what's freedom? Doing what I want, when I want, with whoever I want." No. Sometimes that's called rape, right? So,
Yeah.
there's no freedom in that. That's license. That's like the hope of freedom without consequences. It doesn't work like that. Anyway, I'm just ranting and raving here.
No, this is great. This is actually it just tied into really what I wanted to start with anyway.
Oh,
And
good.
it was, talking about peace, talking
Yeah.
about how do we, I mean, you see what's going on in this world. You see
Okay.
what's going on in this world. So
So,
how do
so
we, yeah, talk
peace.
about that?
Okay, peace is like space. You look around. You look at the space. Like I look out the window. I got some trees on the lawn, and so I focus on trees on the lawn. But look at the space between the blades of grass, and look at the space around the tree. So space. Everything, the whole universe, unfolds in space. Atoms collide and galaxies destroy each other. That's all taking place in space, and space is not affected by that. Space is not expanded or shrunk by an explosion. Space is just the space. It's just where it happens, right?
Yeah.
Well, peace is like space. Peace, awareness is like space. Always peaceful, always content, always calm, not affected by kisses, and not affected by kicks, right? If you put it in human terms, right? Not affected by explosions, not affected by constructions, right? Not affected by whether you think it's an enemy or a friend. Not affected, So what I'm saying is, if you think about it, peace is like space. It's everywhere, has always been everywhere. Our connection to it is from the core of our being. We have to bring our focus into the core of our being. There we are a center of an infinite peace that is everywhere. And when we connect there to the peace in us, then we actually see, oh yeah, it doesn't stop where my body stops. Oh, peace is everywhere. Peace has always been everywhere. Oh my God. And then you start looking at what's going on in the world. Everything that's going on in the world is going on in peace. Peace is the container. Everything, including the wars. Right? Now, and it goes to like Ukraine and Russia, right? People fighting each other, right? Well, there's peace inside the people that are fighting, and there's peace around them, above them, below them, between them. Everywhere on the battlefield is peace. But their focus, we started with focus, right? Where's their focus? Their focus is not on that peace. Their focus is, you're my enemy, I'm going to kill you. You're my enemy, I'm going to kill you. And then in the midst of peace, they kill each other, right? You look at Israel and Hamas, same deal. That's happening in complete, all-encompassing, infinite peace. And so the question then you have to ask yourself as an individual is, what do I want to put into peace? Because you're putting whatever you're doing, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're saying, whatever you're doing, whatever consequences come from that, that's what we're putting into peace. If we sat down and just shut up and got really quiet and went to the peace in the core of our being, we would be putting peace into peace. Ah, that's nice, right?
Yeah.
And all the, and then, the definition of peace, again, depends where your focus is, how you define it. So if you're like doing wars and somebody makes a lot of money on the wars and there's agendas in the wars, and the agenda is not how can we help everybody live better. That's not the agenda. How can we hurt people is the agenda, right?
Yeah.
So you have to look at what the agenda is. If the agenda is, oh yeah, war is okay because that's how we get what we want, then you have to redefine peace. Peace is the absence of war, right? Peace is when the bullets stop flying. That's not peace. That's a ceasefire.
Yeah.
The hostility doesn't change. They don't help each other. That would be more in peace, right? Harmony would come out of peace. So they redefine it. And if you're stupid and you haven't thought about things, then you buy the stupid definition. It's better the bullets aren't flying, right? But they ain't peace.
Yeah.
And peace is like when everything's okay.
Do you think we'll ever get to peace?
Yep, have to, because all the destruction on the planet that we have done and that we're doing to ourselves, each other, and nature and the planet in general, all of it comes out of not having done our homework. And when we haven't done our homework, we feel heartache, and heartache is the driving force because we want to do something that'll get us taken care of. Well, if you don't know what it is that takes care of you because it's already doing it and you're not looking into it, you're looking away from it, then you're going to say, well, if I make $1 million, well, if I get some extra land, well, if I can, rip them off in a deal, whatever it is. And you say, or if I can kill a bunch of people that I don't like, okay, well, then I'll have peace. Because we're saying that we don't have peace because of what they're doing. No. We don't have peace because we're not looking at the peace within us.
Yeah.
Right. But then and then we play a game, right? And then we play the game. Oh, well, and every technological gadget that we've ever invented, we've always said better living, your life will be easier. It's not become easier because the problem isn't the technology. The problem is our disconnection from ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. So, our disconnection from ourselves can only be fixed by reconnecting to ourselves. Sitting with heartache and slipping behind it.
Yeah, and that's where I guess I'm kind of getting the disconnect as well, is because technology I mean, sure, it put us together, right? I mean, I guess
Yep.
that's, we got to look at it that way, but
Yep.
it's also it's putting peace further and further away, because the
It's
more that
not.
we
It's
think,
not. It's
how
not.
how so? How so?
Nothing puts you further or closer to peace,
Meaning,
other
I,
than
I just,
other than moving your focus.
well,
People
that's what I'm
sometimes say to me,
saying.
"Oh, it's harder
That's what
to
I'm
have
saying.
peace now because there's so many more distractions." Well, it's true,
Yes.
we have more distractions, but you only need one distraction to disconnect from peace. See, everybody who's ever lived on this planet had at least one distraction, right? Either
Yeah.
it's the outside world, maybe if you're in a monastery, you see a beautiful woman walking by, oh, distraction, right? If a
Yeah.
leaf flutters in the breeze, because there's no woman walking by to distract you, a leaf flutters in the breeze outside your window, oh, distraction, right? Could be anything. We have tons of distractions, but you only need one. You're either distracted or you're not distracted. It's
Okay.
like it's like on off. It's like the tire is actually turning or it's not turning. And when you drive a car and you slow it down and you stop it, there's a point where you get it like that, right? That's when the tire changes from moving to not moving. There's always a jerk there. And so you it's either stopped or it's turning. It's
Got it.
either you're either on it or you're off it. And distraction is just one, any you get to pick your distractions. Or your first distraction is you have so many distractions that you have to think about which distraction you want to distract you. But you're already distracted because you're already thinking about it.
So is it to take control of the distraction and then you'll get back to peace?
No, the distractions, your mind has a job, which
Yeah.
is to correlate everything and figure it out and make it work so that you have some coherence in your personality. And that's your physical mental aspect of living in a physical body.
Yeah.
Well, there's no peace in the body other than the peace that is not the body. Peace is an awareness, not a body. Peace is not
Got it.
physical. Peace is not physical. And then it's an experience that either you have or you don't, right? And you practice bringing your focus in because once you were there, when you were in your mother's womb, you were in peace and you felt whole and you felt unconditional love. You didn't have words for it, but you were in the feeling. And that was the reality for you, right? And then you came out, had to get to know the world. Your awareness, your focus moved out through your senses into the world to get to know it because everything wasn't taken care of anymore. Now you have to cry for your diaper change and cry for your breast milk and right. So it changed. So we started in peace and love and contentment, and then we moved out into the world of change, which is physical, mental, emotional, social, environmental, because those are all changing aspects of our experience. And then we got caught up in that, and every one of those is a distraction. Even your body is a distraction because peace is not physical, right? So you already live, first time you had to go pee, and it's a distraction, right? So then
Yeah.
you distracted on the process of peeing instead of being present in the peace where there's just stillness and nothing's happening, except it's rich and whole and beautiful, right? So it's not different now than it was before, but there other than we are under pressure to go to that place because we are destroying ourselves, each other, and nature, and we see it coming because and it's all the stuff that we've put out, and now we're starting to see it. Oh, climate, oh my god, whatever it is, icebergs are melting, oh my god, or whatever it is. And some of that is BS too, right?
Yeah.
So you have to
Yep.
take all of it with a grain of salt. We did chop down 3/4 of the trees on the planet in the last 10,000 years. So every man, woman, and child would have to plant 1,000 trees in their lifetime to bring it back up to where it was 10,000 years ago. 8 billion, basically 8 trillion trees. We need to plant 8 trillion trees, right? And
Yeah.
we don't manage water well. We need to slow down the rate at which water that falls on land returns to the ocean, because we're not doing that. So there's too much water in some places, and in other places there's not enough. We could manage that. And there have been plans since 1910 to manage water in North America, and they've never built the system.
Why?
Because
Why is that?
I think probably because dealing with crises is makes more money than dealing with, than being than living with forethought. Let's put it that way, right? Or
Yeah.
chasing carrots is not as lucrative as patching up crises, right? And we've built a whole system like that, right? The war gets we spent $9.5 billion on the war in Ukraine,
Mhm.
and it fills the news every day. War, 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 war. What does that do to you if you're paying attention to all that stuff? War, 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 war. Oh my God, everything's getting worse, getting worse, getting worse, right? And the whole time, you could be in peace, or you could keep your money at home, like in Canada, right? And you could spend $9.5 billion on peace in your own country. And what would that require? Well, maybe you give every Canadian 9 billion. There's 30. I don't know how many. Maybe you give every Canadian $1,000 for sitting still for 3 hours. That would be investing in peace, right?
I would be all on that.
Oh, so would I.
I would. It's
I said,
so
do I? I say, I would say, do I get more if I sit longer?
Right, I was just gonna say, I could do this for 24 hours if you want.
I'm gonna have peace for the rest of my life. Just start printing the money. Just start printing the money.
True, true. But you touched on something there, right?
Yeah,
You did.
yeah,
So
and the thing is that why is America involved? Why is Canada involved? And then they say, well, it's the Russians' fault. Oh, and then there's another story. No, it's the Ukraine's fault. And if there's war, both sides are stupid. I don't know how else to
well,
put it.
right,
War is
exactly. War is war. There takes
war
two
is
to tango, as you say.
war is insanity. War is mental illness.
Yep.
But we build a whole defense department. It's like that should be called the mental illness department. But we have to do it because the other people are all mentally ill too.
Yeah.
So we have to protect ourselves from we have to become mentally ill to protect ourselves from the other people who are mentally ill. And how far does that go? Usually what happens in the end, I was born during the Second World War. They didn't practice peace in between the end of the first and the beginning of the second. That's why I was a war baby. That's why I was a refugee when I was 2 years old. And I could be like the Swedish girl, how dare you put that on me, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is, if they had practiced peace those 21 years between 1918 and 1939, there would have not been a Second World War. What did we do in our feeling of discontent, in our thoughts of negativity, in our words of whatever it is, betrayal or lies or whatever it was, or insults, and then in our actions in those 21 years? That's what brought on the Second World War. Behavior has consequences. And then it goes back to thinking has consequences. And now people want to control the words you say. So that if you don't say certain words, then everything's going to be okay. Oh, come on, that is so crazy. That is so crazy, because either you'll just suppress the words and then just only talk to your buddies behind people's backs like that. It's better that it comes out and is seen for what it is than it stays hidden. So it's better that you have free speech, even if it's negative, because then you know where is it negative and where is it positive. And you need to help people find the place in which negativity and positivity are not necessary, because there are no words in peace, just an experience. But not just an experience, but it's just
Right.
an experience that is magnificent. You
Yeah.
know, and the same thing, if you're in that place that is beyond words and mind, you already live in heaven on earth. It's never gone anywhere. You know, you get, even they talk about the second coming. You know that story, right? What's the
Yeah.
idea? Well, the master was here and then they crucified him and then he went away, and one day he's going to come back and he's going to fix all the buggers, right? It's kind of like that, right? So,
Yeah.
but actually, when you go deep enough inside, in that light that you see, that is the light of the master. That life, that energy, that solar energy, that is the master in you, in
Right.
8 billion people.
Yeah.
Everyone has that master inside, and that master runs everything. So life is also the leader, the natural born leader, and everybody has personal access to the same leader, and there's equality between everybody on the basis of that reality,
Yeah.
right? It's
I mean,
already
it's
there.
firmly, yeah, I firmly believed that.
Yeah. So, and then, so when
Yeah.
you say, is it possible? Is it ever going to be possible? Yeah, because if we don't go there, we'll destroy ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be that in the process of the choices we make, some people will destroy themselves by choices they make. And some people, they, like John Lennon said, what if they called a war and nobody came? Right? So, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting question, right? What is where, I like to say to people, look, you have conflict between two sides, whether it's a political party or a country or people or whatever. Well, I like to be in a conflict, whatever the conflict is, I like to be on the side of life. Oh, what do you mean? Well, let's see. They're alive and they're alive. I want to be on the side of life. And then, in a way, you change the focus. You change the focus to what they have in common, not what divides them and not what they're fighting about. Right?
Right. 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 100%.
Yeah. And in
100%.
every human being is born like a little master child. Every human being, because
We
life
just have
is
to
the
get back
master.
there. We have to
Yeah,
get back there.
if we're smart, we treat other people that way, or at least point them to the fact that they can find that inside. That's a
Yeah.
super, super important thing that most people are not hearing. And then the other one is, yeah, okay, I'm going to live there, no matter what my dramas and traumas were, and mine were pretty intense.
Yep.
I got left behind as a kid, and my father was war shock, so we didn't get along, and you look at all of it, the war and being refugee and being hungry and not knowing what I could trust and not feeling safe, right? So there's like my dramas and my traumas. And the whole time through all those dramas and traumas, life, that energy, that solar energy, that is life, took perfect care of me. Day and night, 24/7, 365. And I had never looked at it until I was 26 years old. I was bitching about the war. The war ended when I was 2, 3, right? And I'm complaining. Yeah, well, nobody's it's like, what? No, nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I've been through a lot, and and then that becomes excuses for not pulling my weight, and then it becomes an excuse for bad behavior, and then it becomes an excuse for doing more damage through discontent, and and it occurred to me, oh my God, I have never acknowledged whatever it is that's taken perfect care of me. And maybe I should become friends with it. And maybe we all should become friends with the life that is taking perfect care of us through all our dramas and all our traumas. And maybe we need to ditch the cultures that create the enmity, or the politicals, or the national thoughts that we have that create the divisions, right? Or the
Yeah.
belief systems we have about men and women, or about races, or about age, or about whatever all of those things are. Maybe we need to ditch those because there is a more compelling, non-divisive reality, which if we live there, we'd be looking at each other, hey, I see you. You have what I have. How can we make it work? How can we make it all work? How can we do the biggest splash for good that is possible in the time we have here? Right?
Mm.
So it's completely within reach because we're sitting on it. Do you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah.
but
No,
but
I
but we
know.
and but what's so funny about it, and this is the biggest joke, right? Is like what's funny about it is we're looking away from it. What we need to be doing is sitting down, looking into it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Into it, away from it. Right? If you can't go outside, go inside. If you can go outside, go inside anyway. Right? Make that the most important thing in your life. That you make time for being. You know, this
Yes.
morning I was lying in bed doing my practice. I do my stillness practice in bed, right? And I was like, we're human beings, but we spend very little time on being, and we spend most of our time on doing. So why aren't we called human doings? We need to take time to be human beings. What does that mean? Sit still. Sit still, do nothing. That's how you become a human being, because that's what being is: sitting still, present, experiencing what this is. And this is unbelievably, amazingly beautiful.
Yeah. And it just thank you for sharing. And that actually kind of brought up something that I was just talking about, I think either today or yesterday, or also hearing on a podcast too, another one. We are so stressed out, right? We're so
Yeah,
stressed out, but that's only because we are not sitting still in quiet and being bored.
yeah, and you look. Yeah, go ahead.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
I was just going to say
yeah,
it correlates exactly what you're saying. We are human
yeah,
doings. We are
yeah,
not. We are literally constantly. And I take ownership of this too, because I'm always constantly wanting to do more, and
yeah, yeah,
and instead of just sitting there and being like, okay, being
yeah.
present, being in the moment, quiet, and just being still with myself. And we find that so hard nowadays, and then
Yeah,
yet we wonder why we're so stressed out and burned
but
out and everything.
because we're addicted to doing, you know,
Yes.
and yeah. But stress is interesting too, because I'm sitting here in my living room, right, and the leaves are waving in the breeze, right, the ones that haven't fallen off yet, right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they're moving. Okay, if I decide I don't want those leaves to move, I could get really stressed
Hmm.
because they're going to keep moving, right? So we get stressed because we want things to be a certain way, and things aren't that way. And it's not our fault or their fault that things that change. That's just their nature, right? So if I was okay with everything being the way it is and changing the way it does, like I want it to be spring, but it's going into winter. Oh my God, so stressful, right? But so
Yep.
I'm using things as an excuse to stress myself, and I do that with my belief system,
Yeah.
right? Or my intentions, or my druthers, right? I wish it was spring, but it's going into fall and it's going the wrong way. And what do I need to do to make the days get longer right now? Not waiting till after New Year's, right?
Right.
So
Right.
so we're doing that to ourselves too, not accepting things the way they are, right? And then what do? We create a belief system, and then we want that belief system to be the rock that we live on. instead of peace being the rock we live on.
Yeah.
So we make that a belief system, but the belief system was all cobbled together by people. And most of it is BS, right? So you create a BS system out of an organ that is the change organ in an organ about a world, about the parts of the world where everything changes. And then you say, yeah, I want the world to come around to my belief system.
Mm-hmm.
That's stupid. That's stupid. That's mentally ill too. Right?
Yeah.
Now, if I'm sitting here and I'm okay because I actually feel, and I'm actually in it right now, and I'm feeling, my breath is going, and I'm not trying to stop my breath or count my breath. I'm just following it, and so the only thing that's really going on, other than me talking and flibbering around, right? So I'm here, and it's okay that the leaves move, and it's okay that the days are getting shorter, and it's okay that other people have other stupid beliefs that are not in line with my stupid beliefs.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
When I'm in peace and I feel cared for by life, it's all okay. Right? I don't have to have an opinion on it. And I don't have to try and make a change. And I have a friend, a wise friend, by the name of Prem Rawat, who is a teacher. And he says, everything that can change will. And the only thing that won't change is what can't, by its nature. Well, peace does not change. And unconditional love does not change. So you want a foundation that gives you security and a solid ground? Got to be peace. If you don't practice peace, if you don't practice connecting to the peace that is your foundation, you are living without foundation. When you live without foundation, you're living in like a little walnut shell boat on big waves in the ocean, right? Yeah. So then if you don't have the foundation, you're all over the place, right? You need human beings need a foundation. Every one of us, right? Once it was our mother's finger, so we could look in the world and hang it onto mom's finger, and there was a security was in mom's finger, right? Oh, look at that! Oh, look at that! And then maybe we lost the finger. Ah, mommy, right? But when you have that stability, you can enjoy the world. Just like we're like that too. Only for us, the finger is the peace that is our real mother, right? Our foundation. When we're in that peace, yeah, we can enjoy living, and we can enjoy the changes, and we can flow with the changes, and everything's go, because we have a stability that never leaves us. We live it, but it never leaves us. And so when we have that stability, then we can live a good life. And when we don't have that stability, it's like the world sucks. If I ask people something, so how's life? Oh man, life really sucks. No. You got to make it clear. Got to be clear. Life is always beautiful, but a lot of times the world sucks. Right? But they don't know that. They're not connected to themselves enough to even know that. So the world sucks, but the stability is still there. Unknown, but still there. Ignored, but still there. And so maybe we're getting to a point where we can't ignore it. And maybe it would be better for us, and it was the advice of all the wise people in the world. They always said, put peace first. Mm-hmm. Put contentment first. Put the kingdom of heaven first. Put your connection to infinity first. Put your, make that priority. Every day, make that priority. Make stability your priority. Make peace your priority. And then everything else becomes easier.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's every day. We just gotta
Every day.
go back to
Every
that.
day.
Every day.
I've been
We gotta work at this every
I
single
started
day.
doing this practice when I was 30. I'm
Yeah.
81. I'm 81 now, so I've been doing it for 51 years. And my life is completely different. Way so much better. And I'm not worried about dying, and I'm not worried about everything. I could still go there. It's like,
Yeah.
what if,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
I can still go there, but I also know I've done it often enough that every time I go there, the peace is there. It's never not been there. It will never not be there. So I will always have that place. I used to go to nature to slow down because nature's slower than the mind. So that worked. But now I don't have to go anywhere. I just go to the place. Slow down. Where there's nothing going on. Everything's okay. Yeah.
Talk to me about total sexy health. What is that?
Total Sexy Health was an ill-fated attempt to, and I'll tell you how it happened.
Yeah.
Um, Human nature and nature are different levels of in existence. So we talked a little about it, like and I draw it like a bullseye. So in
Mm-hmm.
the center of the bullseye is peace. That's the deepest part of my being. Around that is unconditional love. That's the energy of life that keeps me alive, that takes care of me. Around that shines into the world as I call it inspired purpose. And I haven't even made it into the body yet. So the central three things are not physical. In my existence, the central three things are not physical. Then it's body, made from food, water, and air, made for activity. Then survival smarts, I call it, is the protective mind. So that's about survival and skills and, maybe preempting crises and, dealing with facing the crisis when they come. So that's 5. Then there's social group. Then there's natural environment. And then 8 is the big picture. The fact that live in acceptance and comfortable acceptance of living in a temporary body in an infinite universe. So that's your God picture or whatever you call that.
Yeah.
How do you come to terms with existence, right? So it's peace on the inside and it's universal peace on the outside. And they're the same peace. It's just that I'm a center for that peace. So are you. So is everybody else. And that peace has many centers, infinite centers, but no outside dimension. Right? So those are the 8. And then I started writing that book, and it was it was channeled almost. It was like it just flowed. It was like I got to a point where it just flowed. And I gave it to a guy to do some editing. And he said, you should jazz this up a little because it's a really good topic. So how do you jazz it up? He said, well, you jazz it up by making it sexy. Why? Why sexy? Oh, because sexy is the power word. It's used for everything. Everybody uses sexy to sell everything, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So the first thing I said to him is that I can't do a book on total sexy health. I don't know enough about sexy. And then I started thinking about it, and it was like, no, actually, I know a lot about sexy. I've just never really thought about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the idea then was because sexy is not just about having sex. Sexy is about vibrancy and energy and liveliness and presence. And so sexy has a much broader definition than genitals. And so I would call it the book on total sexy health, but it's really a book on nature and human nature.
Mm-hmm.
And so sexy is in there and the idea of the model is that if you live aligned with those 8 parts, and each one of them has a different nature and a different function and needs a different kind of attention and goes off in a different way in response to a different kind of intervention. If you live aligned with all of them, you're going to be as sexy as it is possible to be. In other words, as fully alive as is possible to be. And if you get misaligned from any one of those, any one or more of those, then some of your sexy disappears. And when you get back in line, you get it back. So that as a model, it's kind of nice. It works very well. But I felt afterwards that after I published it, I felt it trivialized the topic. So it was a good exercise for me, but I felt that it trivialized the topic, and I would probably have done better if I called it total, global, sacred, sexy health, and not focus just on sexy as the power word.
Got it.
Life should be the power word. Life or peace should be the power word, because that's where the most power and the most potential and the most possibility is.
Did people gravitate toward the first, the total sexy health, or would you think that people would gravitate more towards the latter that you were thinking of?
Oh, I think ultimately it'll be not sexy won't know, and especially these days there's so many trips about sexy and gender and and
no, you're
so
right.
we've trivialized sex. We still sell, but even the people who sell everything by sexy, they're they're slowing down on doing that.
Yeah,
it's not working the same way anymore.
well, because because it's so inundated, it's so out there that you got to get another word that stands out versus
and it's also like thinking back on it, it's also exploitive.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Because you buy a pair of socks that are sexy, but what? What? Really? Sexy? Really?
Oh, practical.
Yeah. Practical is good. Keep you warm in winter.
Yes.
Keep your toes warm is good. But sexy? I don't know. Woolen socks, that's
I wouldn't
scratch your skin.
No.
Anyway, so I looking back, it was a good exercise for me, but it has to be redone, and I'm not quite ready to do that yet. And I've learned a lot since then, so it's going to be a better presentation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, would love to.
The people who've read it, they've liked it. And when I explain why I did it that way, that makes complete sense to them.
Got it.
But
you want to rework it.
I feel it trivialized the topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be continued, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not done yet.
Keep me posted on that.
Yeah.
Well, this has been amazing, Udo. Again, this is I generally you're the only guest that I've had on twice, so it says something about you. You capture.
So put me on 5 times more, and then nobody will ever equal it.
Exactly,
That'll be the Biles standard. The Biles standard?
No.
The acrobat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. 37 medals or whatever it is.
Yes. Now Simone Biles. Simone Biles. Yeah. Now I know. Okay. Yeah. You'll be the Olympian champion of the root of our health. I got to tell you. Well, it's just because you have so much great content to talk about in general, and I'm just going to say it. I think it also has to do with your wisdom, your age, what you went through, and everything that you learned and are teaching in general. So I don't even have to ask questions. I don't have to talk. You're the just this spokesperson for this show, because it is as I'm kind of putting to it, peace is getting to the root of our health. So
peace is very healthy.
Yeah. So
peace, in fact, I say peace is beyond health.
Yeah.
And life is perfect health, because the life energy can never get sick and never dies and runs everything and repairs everything. So if you can get your head out of the way of the life energy flowing easily through you, then the life energy will pretty much deal with all the healing and all the function that you need.
Nice.
A lot of people make themselves sick by the limits they put on the flow of energy by their thoughts. And they block the energy by their thoughts. You can also block it with poison, but we do as much damage to ourselves by our thinking as industry does with toxins.
And yeah, that sometimes I
Yeah.
think is even more detrimental than
Yeah.
what we think about, or, ourselves, what we talk to ourselves about,
Yep.
um, is more
There,
detrimental, unfortunately.
yeah. There was
Unfortunately.
a time when my dominant thought was, "Why am I effed up?"
Mm,
Right?
yeah.
And you
Yeah.
think about it, like I look at it now, it's like, why am I effed up? Well, first of all, I've already assumed that I am effed
Hmm.
up,
Yep.
so there's no getting out of that.
Right.
And then I want to know why. I'm not even asking how I get un-effed up, right?
Yeah.
So,
So
and
there's no
that's
solution.
and
You're just wanting,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, and beliefs are like that. They're like, yeah, I'm a bad boy.
Yeah.
Why am I a bad boy? Because your mother told you, your father told you, your teacher told you, and a couple of other people who you didn't know better than to give the finger, said it, and now you think you're a bad boy because somebody else said so. But
Yeah.
life never called you a bad boy, right? Life never put you down. So then, if between life lifting you up and other people putting you down, maybe life is a better deal. Maybe life is what you need to hold to. Maybe take your advice from life. It'll never steer you wrong. People will steer you wrong for all kinds of different agendas. Life will never steer you wrong. Never has, never will, never can.
Yeah. I believe that. I also want to touch on a little bit of that too, because I think we talk about people in general, right? But we also need support. We also need, those maybe one, two people that will lift us up, because
Yeah.
we can do it. We can do it ourselves in terms of getting, in within ourselves, and being within ourselves. That starts there. But we also need the people that surround us to be on the same level. So, I mean, it's hard to find, because it's hard to
Mm-hmm.
find those people that are on the same level,
Well,
but they're out there.
if the goal is like the goal, life's goal for you is for
Yeah.
you to be fully present in the space your body occupies, then getting support from the outside may be more of a distraction than a help, because something on the outside not working will get you to come home.
Okay.
So you have to think about that. There's like, we can help people in small ways, but the place where we really need to find that support is in the thing that is actually supporting us. And
Right.
that's never on the outside. We say mothers have unconditional love. No, they don't.
Right.
Mothers don't have unconditional love. Mothers have love for their kids and punish them when they don't do as the mother wants. And they may do it with the benefit of the child in mind, to the extent that they know what's really beneficial in the future that the child will live in, right? But
Yeah.
it's not unconditional love. But life loves you unconditionally from inside, 24/7. And so I can put my hand on your back and say, "Oh, Elizabeth, yeah, I know you're having a bad day, and maybe I can crack a joke and break you out of it." So we can do little things, but don't count on them. Count on what's inside you that is always there for you. Never leaves you. Even in your darkest hour, this is from Krishna, even in your darkest hour, I will never abandon you. That no matter how depressed you are or how bad a time you're going through, life is keeping you alive, and it's moving those molecules of omega 3s and vitamin C and magnesium from wherever they come into your body to wherever they need to go in your body. That's all going on, even when your head is completely fried. Right?
Yeah.
And that you can count on. Count on what you can count on. Trust what can be trusted. Life can be trusted. On the outside is not guaranteed. Some people you can trust sometimes. And even sometimes the people you trust or you thought you could trust, something changes, right?
True.
So you never have that solid on the outside the way it's always solid on the inside. That's why the smart people, that's why the wise people always pointed in that direction. They all said it. They all said it in different ways. Unconditional love. You want peace, you want love, you want to feel whole. You want to overcome fear of death. Go to the thing in you that never dies. Go to the thing in you that is love, that is peace, that is always there for you, no matter what is going on. So you know how powerful that is? Holy
Yeah.
smokes. And you have it. It's like you have it. And then the masters come because they come when people completely forget about it. And they come to remind them. And they didn't come to say, hey, I'm really cool and you're really screwed up. That's what the church did with it. The masters all said, what's in me is in you. And if you do what I do, which is do a stillness practice and actually give that priority, then you will experience what I experience and your life will be like mine. So they put it, but we're responsible for it. They can't, the master can't make you do that.
Right.
You have, but the call of your heart will get you to do that. That's why thirst of the heart is so incredibly precious, because that's your call to come home. So you come home, you feel that thirst, that far behind it, like it's not even a hair's breadth behind it, is your peace, is your light, is your love, is your wholeness, is your sound, is your wisdom, is your inspiration, right? Is your purpose.
Yeah.
And then you can help on the outside. You can help when you know that, you can help people a little bit on the outside and remind them of that. That's about all you can do for anybody. You can feed them and all of that, but somewhere along the line, when they find their wholeness, they'll find things to do that'll get them fed too, so that they're not just taking handouts. Because oh my God, I went through drama and trauma. Yeah, so did I. so did we. So did we all. So did all the masters, right? But they stayed connected to that, to the core of to the essence of their existence. Imagine 8 billion people doing that.
Yeah.
This place would be
Powerful.
so lit up. This place,
Powerful.
yeah. This place would be so lit up, you'd need to wear sunglasses.
Or according to some people, you should look at the sun.
Yeah, when it's almost down.
Right,
almost
right,
dawn.
exactly. No, it's
sunset. Yeah, better to look at sunsets.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, thank you, Udo, for all of this. This is such again, a pleasure to have you on and speak wisdom and truth and peace and love. So I appreciate that.
And thank you for letting me do it.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
And to all my listeners, you are worth it.